The first whispered rumors began in the laboratories beneath the high peaks of Earth's restored mountain ranges. For centuries, dark matter had hovered at the edges of scientific understanding, an enigma that defied direct observation. A halo of hidden mass that tugged at galaxies like the invisible strings of a cosmic puppet show. Yet it was not until the 28th century that human ingenuity caught up with cosmic mystery. Scientists in the newly unified Terran Council, emboldened by centuries of astrophysical data and quantum breakthroughs, engineered a device capable of interacting with dark matter fields on a subatomic level. The development overshadowed every prior technological leap. They named it the Argent Key. It was rumored, in hushed corners of the scientific community, that the key could manipulate not just matter and energy, but the very fabric of reality's unseen scaffolding. And so began an unprecedented era, one that would tilt the balance of power in the galactic quadrant irreversibly toward the species that called themselves human. A swirl of excited chatter spread through Earth's orbital stations. Skilled technicians and scientists scurried through corridors, transfixed by the revolution in front of them. The Argus Observatory, perched on the far side of the moon, was repurposed into the largest dark matter research facility in human history. The device at its core, an orb of shimmering fractal patterns, used artificially generated gravitational waves to entangle with the elusive dark matter. Suddenly, phenomena that had been intangible were rendered pliable. Researchers forged tools to store, shape, and channel dark matter energies into everyday machinery. Where once dark matter had been a theoretical footnote, it now became the hallmark of a civilization on the brink of self-styled godhood. Day by day, new prototypes emerged. Propulsion systems that broke speed barriers, energy reactors that produced endless clean power, and defense fields that defied conventional warfare. Gradually, Earth's influence radiated outward, overshadowing centuries of delicate alliances. At first, the galaxy's long-established species watched with mild curiosity. The Federation of Ryland, proud descendants of elegant amphibian ancestors, shrug human ambition was no new phenomenon. The Othran Unity, known for their crystalline technology, felt neither threat nor interest. It was presumed that humankind's achievements would follow the cycle common to so many aspiring powers, a brief surge of novelty, soon eclipsed by the inevitable plateau. But that assumption was doomed the moment the first tachyon lance was powered up. This weapon, an outgrowth of dark matter research, was not merely destructive. It was unstoppable. It could be compressed, aimed and fired through subspace in a fraction of a second. In field tests, test asteroids disintegrated with no visible beam and no heat signature. Military analysts whispered of a weapon that negated physical defenses entirely, dissolving matter at the subatomic level. When the Rylans and Othran realized the scope of this new threat, they scrambled to reassess their centuries of complacency. The Terran Council had by this time consolidated Earth's many factions under a single scientific and political banner. A sophisticated propaganda apparatus wove together every new demonstration of dark matter engineering into a tapestry of inevitability. Humanity was destined to rule. And to many within the Terran population, especially those who had lived through centuries of battered alliances, the chain of events felt almost fated. When frontier territories threatened secession due to perceived inequities, the Council deployed small demonstrations of the tachyon lance near uninhabited star systems, leaving drifting rubble as silent statements of power. Despite limited voices of dissent, the public mostly rallied. These displays were crowned by the shining achievement of Earth's newly built capital city Daxis Prime, a place of glass towers infused with swirling dark matter cables, their power flickering in mesmerizing fractal patterns that spelled out both hope and warning. In the star-studded void beyond Earth's solar system, anxious negotiations began between alien governments. Even the ancient Triarch Dominion, whose origins stretched to the earliest days of interstellar expansion, sent emissaries who wore their ceremonial armor with a newfound sense of caution. They negotiated with the Terran Council for mutual cooperation, or at least coexistence. Although the Council feigned benevolent interest, the undercurrents were clear. The dark matter breakthroughs had become a tool for intimidation. Every starport that opened negotiations with a Terran delegate found itself overshadowed by the presence of black and silver warships. These ships glowed with faint distortions where dark matter reactors tore small tears into normal space, harnessing energies that other species' scanners couldn't fully comprehend. To stand before a Terran warship was to sense an unknowable presence, an uneasy hum that pressed on the mind, as though reality itself pulsated to human design. One might have expected a universal alliance to stand against this new wave of human ambition. Yet the galaxy's many species had grown habituated to their own pockets of existence. Rivalries and distrust ran deep, especially in the advanced but fractious Federation of Rylan. Meanwhile, the Othrans strove to remain neutral, believing their crystal-based defenses sufficient to repel any incursion. Scattered confederations of younger species, from the insectoid Kiev to the gaseous Aal, found themselves too far from real power to mount a united front. The Terran Council carefully exploited these divisions, offering tantalizing glimpses into dark matter technology to potential allies, while sowing rumors of betrayal among the rest. Galactic politics soon became a dance around humanity's gravitational pull, each civilization taking careful steps so as not to be drawn in too swiftly or cast out forever. The turning point came when a small Rillan outpost on the fringes of the Perseus Arm discovered an unguarded Terran relay station powered by dark matter devices. Hoping to glean insights for their own scientists, the Rylans attempted a covert operation to retrieve data. The infiltration was successful at first, but the station housed a quantum-level security measure, small sensors able to detect changes in local gravitational curvature, instantly alerting Terran authorities. A single Terran warship arrived, the Sentinel of Daxus, overshadowing all Rylan vessels under its long, angular hull. In a swift, breathtaking maneuver, the Sentinel deployed a new variant of the Tachyon Lance. The Rylan outpost, suspended in space a million kilometers away, met an abrupt dissolution. Sensors showed the entire station vanish in scattered motes of cosmic dust. Survivors from the infiltration mission were taken prisoner, later paraded through Earth's holofeeds as a grim demonstration of what awaited those who dared meddle with humanity's secrets. After that, the uneasy hush that fell across the galaxy was palpable. Governments scrambled for ways to negotiate. Some sought alliances, others attempted to placate the Terran Council with tributes, and still others quietly prepared for defensive conflict, though no known weapon matched the destructive elegance of the Tachyon Lance. Meanwhile, Earth's population reveled in a newfound sense of destiny. Many Terrans believed that their expansion was not conquest, but a responsibility. For them, it was humanity's right, no duty, to bring order, progress, and prosperity to all, even if others stubbornly resisted. Government spokespeople appeared on holovids, reminding the public that dark matter technology was a gift from human genius, and that distributing it widely would be too dangerous. "It is ours," the rhetoric went, "and we are right to use it as we see fit." Yet, even as the Terran Council projected total confidence, much of the scientific community grappled with moral questions behind closed doors. People remembered the lessons of the old world, millennia of warfare waged over every new explosive or quantum bomb. The Council's top research heads whispered among themselves, "Is the Tachyon Lance truly unstoppable, or will it usher in a catastrophic arms race?" Some felt it was only a matter of time before a single slip revealed the secrets of dark matter manipulation to other civilizations. Anxious to maintain their position, the Council funded deeper research at Argus Observatory. They sought to push the boundaries of dark matter usage beyond mere weaponry. The dream was to create stasis fields, to access parallel dimensions, even to control time's flow. All these frontiers shimmered just within reach. And so the moral debates faded into the background, overshadowed by the new mania for bruising unstoppable progress. When the Triarch Dominion attempted a cautious exchange, offering centuries of accumulated star charts in return for a fraction of the dark matter data, the Terran Council's refusal cracked the veneer of civilized discourse. The Dominion envoys, outraged, declared that they would no longer bow to Terran intimidation. Subtly, they threatened a grand alliance that would stand against Earth's armies. The Council responded by dispatching a fleet to the Dominion's frontier worlds, a silent show of unstoppable ships bristling with dark matter weaponry. Rather than risk annihilation, the Dominion grudgingly acceded to a humiliating truce. In a single generation, the galaxy's every major starfaring power was brought to heel, each through a combination of spectacular demonstrations, cunning diplomacy, and a menacing promise of unstoppable might. And yet, not all Terrans shared the Council's single-minded vision. In the underground levels of Argus Observatory, a small group of dissident scientists, led by Dr. Mikhail Dow, quietly developed a plan to sabotage the Tachyon Lance program. They believed that in unleashing these unstoppable weapons, the Council was corrupting the spirit of discovery that once bound them together as a species. "We were explorers," Dr. Dow would say, poring over quantum calculations. "Before we decided to shape the galaxy in our own image, we sought simply to understand it. Now, we stand on the brink of something monstrous." Gathering stolen data and forging access codes, they conspired to overload the Argent Key's containment chamber with an intentional misalignment, potentially collapsing the entire dark matter field. It was an act that could topple Earth's new empire, if it didn't annihilate half the solar system in the process. Meanwhile, the outer galaxy simmered in quiet discontent. From the Ryland Federation's murky seas to the gleaming crystal spires of the Othran, small pockets of rebels formed, training in remote asteroid belts and exchanging coded transmissions. They had grown weary of the Terran Council's demands, resentful of the humiliating treaties forced upon them. With help from sympathetic Terrans, these rebel groups gathered scraps of data on dark matter usage, hoping to replicate or sabotage the technology. They lacked the resources to mount a grand offensive, but each minor act of defiance heightened the tension. Sporadic skirmishes occurred at the edges of Terran-held space, fueling the Council's paranoia and prompting a crackdown on any suspected subversion. Thus, an imminent storm brewed, cosmic in scale, fueled by secrets and animated by fear. Into this precarious balance stepped an unassuming figure, Valera Sial, a historian employed by the Council's Ministry of Galactic Records. Valera's job was to document Earth's rapid expansion for official archives, weaving a triumphant narrative of how humanity rose to dominance. But the deeper she delved into raw data, witness reports from ravaged outskirts, logs from destroyed space stations, the personal diaries of terrified alien civilians, the more she questioned Earth's moral trajectory. Under the cover of her official duties, she smuggled out sensitive documents to Dr. Dow's faction, who recognized her as a potential key ally. Where Dr. Dow's team had technical expertise, Valera had the Council's hidden knowledge. She unlocked sealed records of early dark matter experiments, discovering that entire research stations had vanished during radical tests. Their teams never recovered. The Council had buried these disasters, certain that the ultimate prize justified any cost. Valera's convictions intensified. This was not the path of a worthy civilization. The moment of collision arrived sooner than many expected. The Triarch Dominion, cornered and desperate, launched a clandestine strike on Argus Observatory itself. They allied with rebel Terrans, hoping to disrupt the Council's core research capabilities and seize the Argent Key. Unnoticed at first, their infiltration force commandeered a small cargo freighter, concealing squads of Dominion commandos and wayward Terran scientists in suspended animation to evade detection. As the ship docked with Argus, the Council's orbital security was overconfident, scanning only for standard threats. In the gloom of the loading bay, the commandos emerged, weapons primed, swiftly taking control of key sections of the station. The rebels raced to the central containment chamber, where the swirling fractal orb of the Argent Key pulsed with cosmic potency. But Dr. Dow's team was already there, working feverishly to deploy their sabotage. When Dominion commandos burst in, the tension erupted into chaos. Phased weapons traded deadly beams with dark matter-based security drones. Researchers bravely shielded fragile control consoles, trying to preserve the single chance humanity had to disarm its unstoppable technology. Meanwhile, Dominion commandos wanted to capture, not destroy, the key, hoping to replicate its powers for their own ends. Amid the crossfire, Valera dashed between blasts, clinging to data rods that contained crucial instructions. One stray shot shattered a coolant line, flooding the chamber with supercooled vapor that condensed into glittering frost. Another shot ricocheted off a containment panel, nearly striking the Argent Key. Electric arcs snapped across the room, highlighting the key's swirling complexity in harsh strobe flashes. As the Dominion fighters advanced, Dr. Dow input a final sequence of zeros and ones that would trigger the meltdown. A roar of alarm broke through the chaotic static of the station's intercom. Terran reinforcements had arrived. The corridor erupted with heavy footsteps as black-clad Marines stormed in. Led by Captain Saren Rahl, Rahl was a decorated officer, revered for her unwavering loyalty to the Council. She barked orders for the rebels to surrender. Their time was nearly gone. Surrounded on both sides by heavily armed foes, Dominion on one, Terran Marines on the other, Dr. Dow pleaded into the swirling chaos for an end to the madness. "A meltdown will annihilate us all," he shouted. "We must shut it down while we still can." The Dominion's commander refused, determined to seize their prize. Captain Rahl's instructions were to kill or capture any rebel, defending the key at all costs. The tension was unsustainable. To everyone's shock, Valera stepped forward, arms raised, ignoring the weapons aimed her way. "Humanity cannot claim the right to shape the universe if we sacrifice our souls to get there," she shouted, voice trembling yet resolute. She held out the data rods, beseeching both sides to see reason. A hush fell, uncertain but tangible. For a long, breathless moment, it seemed that no one dared break the silence. Then Captain Rahl lowered her rifle, ever so slightly. The Dominion's commander, eyes narrowed, hesitated. "Threatening the entire galaxy is not triumph, it's tyranny," Valera continued. She placed the rods on the ground, stepping away to signal trust. In that sliver of calm, Dr. Dow took advantage of the moment, carefully halting the meltdown sequence. The swirling fractals within the Argent Key stabilized, flickering with a renewed aura, as if breathing a sigh of relief. However, the tension remained. The self-destruct was stopped, but the technologies that fueled Earth's dominance were still intact. While Dominion troops reeled from the lost opportunity to capture the key, Captain Rahl looked around at the battered remains of the station. Her eyes passed over wounded Marines, rebel scientists, and Dominion commandos alike. All shivering under the frosty vapor, she saw, perhaps for the first time, the devastation wrought by humanity's unstoppable quest. Slowly, she raised her visor, revealing a fatigued expression. Earth's supremacy had come at a cost measured in broken alliances, ruined stations, and human souls twisted by ambition. "We have the power to demand submission," she said softly. "But if we destroy everything in our path, what remains for us to rule?" No one answered, the question as vast and heavy as the cosmic void beyond the station walls. In the aftermath, a tense accord was reached, one that recognized the Terran Council's advanced knowledge while placing checks on its usage. Representatives from the Rylans, the Othran, the Triarch Dominion, and Terran dissidents demanded oversight of future dark matter developments. The Council, weakened by the near catastrophe, grudgingly agreed to limited transparency. The Argus Observatory was declared neutral ground, open to scientific collaboration with rotating leadership. Not everyone was satisfied. The Council still held many secrets, and the promise of unstoppable human technology remained. But for a brief window, the galaxy pulled back from the precipice. As battered vessels retreated to their homeworlds and clandestine weapons were stashed away, The question of what next lingered. Humanity remained the masters of the unseen, with knowledge that could reshape reality itself, but emerging voices within Terran society began to ask whether simply possessing such power demanded new forms of humility, or else risk inciting another cycle of devastation. Down on Earth's surface, from the shining spires of Daxus Prime to the reclaimed wilderness of ancient continents, people wrestled with the knowledge that their ascendancy was not as inevitable as the Council had claimed. Historians debated the facts in open forums, and newly awakened activists insisted that if humanity possessed the key to the galaxy's future, it must be used responsibly. In secret corners, some factions continued to advocate for total supremacy, whispering that the galaxy should kneel or fall. Others urged cautious progress, believing humanity should guide the cosmos but avoid tyranny. The starry skies loomed over them all, offering no simple answers, only the endless vacuum in which civilizations rose and fell. Those who had come face to face with the destructive potential of dark matter technology like Captain Rahl, Dr. Dow, and Valera understood a sobering truth. Mastering the unseen was only half the story. Real power lay in deciding how to wield it without unraveling one's own humanity. The Argent Key still pulsed within Argus Observatory, a cosmic enigma offering infinite possibility. Whether that possibility would birth a golden age or plunge them into greater darkness remained uncertain. But for the first time since the Tachyon Lance had burned a station into dust, there was a spark of hope that humanity might move beyond fear and ambition, striving instead to unite with the galaxy they had once sought to dominate. Yet, even hope had its perils. In a universe bound by neither mercy nor law, knowledge was the greatest currency, and humans, masters of the unseen, would stand or fall by the wisdom of their will.